'cause I am strong and I am beautiful alone.
Hi, I guess you could call this Forgiveness of the Past Part 2, or something along those lines. There's something I kind of forgot to touch on in the last video that I'm just going to pull up my blog here because I wrote about it last night, and I think it's really something I want to put out there, and I really want to touch on this and say what I can about it. So, here we go. I've noticed so much lately that when you meet new people, they want to know about your past. They don't want to know about who you are right now, which is kind of strange because you are who you are right now. You're not who you were, maybe yesterday or a minute ago or a year ago. You can change yourself if you want to right now. And you could be totally different than you were a second ago, you know what I mean? So I don't really understand why a lot of people need to know your past all the time, because the past doesn't have to define who you are. You can define who you are right now. Just gonna put that out there. I also noticed, I notice a lot of things with society in general, because we're trained to think certain ways, and it's really messed up. It's really messed up. A lot of people encourage others to hold anger and hate and all these negative things, and I find there's not a lot of people that are encouraging love and are encouraging people to be happy, And this is just something I definitely realized strongly last night. And I'm not going to blame anyone for it. There's no specific person out there in the world that dictates that this all happens or anything, I'm not going to blame it on anybody, but as humans we don't always know better, and that's why you have people like me trying to get these messages out to people just so it can be in the back of your head. And now I kind of know better. I don't know better for, every situation, obviously, and I'm still learning and growing, but in certain situations I know better now than I did before, and it's just because I'm learning, and I love to share this with the world so you can kind of experience the same things that I am. I noticed, this is getting back to, when you meet new people or whatever, if they ask about your past friendships or relationships, they always want to know, not always, but generally, most of the time, they always want to know what went wrong. And then they start labeling. This is something this always gets to me. People labeling other people. Because that's when you start to put them up here or down here. And you're comparing to yourself, which you don't need to do. Because no one's better than you, and no one's worse than you. Everyone's worthy of everything, which I've discussed before. And you are worthy of everything. Everyone is equal. Okay? And when you start labeling, that's when you start judging. And even if you don't notice it, that's when you start with this level thing. I don't know what you want to call this level thing, but it's, I guess, the comparison of these people, other people, to you. And you don't need to do that. You can choose not to do that. You can choose not to label people, and this is what I've been working on for a while. A lot of people, if you're talking about a past relationship or a past friendship, you start saying, well, that person wasn't worth my time, or they're an ass, or they're a horrible person, and it's just like, you really don't need to label people like that, and it kind of bothers me now if anyone ever labels someone, because it's not coming from a loving place at all, and I think that people do that because they're hurt. Basically, that's what it comes down to. So, why do we do that? Why are you choosing to do that? You don't need to choose that way. What I've been doing is just kind of becoming aware of what I'm doing in my head, and then I can work on it for me. So I realized that, I've had people ask me about, a past relationship or whatever. And without me realizing it, the first thing that I always talk about is how it ended and how it hurt me. And why? But people seek that, Why are people even asking me about the bad aspects of it or why it ended, Because those things aren't really relevant. Those things don't really matter. You know what I mean? The things that you pull from relationships and friendships, I don't know how to word this exactly, but the things that you pull are way more important lesson-wise. In life, it's so much more important than why it ended or why it didn't work out. So that's my message for you all, is when you're looking back to the past, or if someone asks you about a friendship or a relationship that ended, I challenge you to not talk about why it ended first. Try to not let that be the first thing you say. And I'm challenging myself on this one. This time around, the next time I'm asked or the next time I think about it, I'm not going to say or think, oh yeah, it ended like this. Or, oh, they really hurt me this one time. Or, oh, and they did this and they made me feel like this. And no. I don't need to blame anybody. What I think we all should do is look back to the past and be grateful for it. Be grateful for the lessons you got from it. Instead of asking someone, oh, what happened with your relationship? Ask them, well, what did you learn from that? What did you gain from that person, from that experience? And this doesn't mean you have to look back in the past and say, oh, I had the perfect relationship, or I had the perfect whatever, because, nothing's perfect. So you don't have to see it as, oh, everything's perfect, positive, it was so awesome. You don't have to see it as that. But what I think you should try to see it as is a good thing. Whether it had a bad end or a good end, And you don't have to only celebrate the good things that happened in your past relationship or your past friendship. You don't have to completely ignore the bad times. You can look at the good times and remember those and say, wow, yeah, that was great. But you can also look at the bad times where, yeah, you were hurt and whatever was exchanged, bad words or, just fearful thoughts and feelings were exchanged, whatever the negative things were, you can accept that and embrace that just as much as the good times that you had with people. Because the lessons that you're taking from that are great. Learning is great, and that's what life is for. So even if you think back and you think, wow, I had a lot of not so good times with so-and-so, or, certain friends, relationships, whatever you want to label it, think about those times where you were hurt, but think about what you gained from it and what you're maybe still gaining from it, instead of blaming it on the other person or blaming it on yourself. You don't have to do that to yourself. So that's my message for you all, is to try to not encourage people to be angry about things. Encourage other people and encourage yourself to see things as a good thing, and try to see how you've learned from things and how you've grown, and not blame it on other people. That's my second message for you for today. Have a really, really good day, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.